Hello, Internet, and welcome to another Sketch Talk Saturday. So, you may be wondering, what happened to our Chat Friday? If anybody is watching this, you might be wondering what happened to our Chat Friday. Basically, it didn't work out. So, I'm going to try to do more of a sketchy, show you the progress type stuff. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. As you can see, we are on the second page of my new sketchbook that I got from Barnes & Noble. So yesterday we went to the zoo and we had a great time. It was truly a blast. But my family and myself included, we are gluttons for experience. And so after the zoo, while we were still hot and sweaty messes, we went ahead and went over to the movie theater to watch How to Train Your Dragon. But we had a little time gap, so we kind of stopped by Barnes & Noble, looked at the books and all that stuff, and I found this little French notebook with these floral prints and grid papers, and I just thought it was so cute. I love, these little scrapbooky things. And of course, $15 went down the tube. Sketchbook that was already started, but I just kind of started looking at this new sketchbook and I was like, that one's awfully cute. So yeah, I'm gonna stop blabbing about my sketchbook and actually start talking to you about the sketches. This time I actually took inspiration for my breakfast, which was a bowl full of cherries. Very simple, yummy. Anyways, so I started off a rough sketch with the orange nib. I forgot to tell you about the art supply that I'm using. I've been seeing this really cool trend that was going on around Instagram. I don't know if it was just because it was popping up on my FYP page because I was watching it. But I saw these people using these really cheap Dollar Tree kind of like those kitty pens where you can click down on a button and there would be a different colored nib on each one. So yeah, that's what I was using. If you actually saw or you can actually see it, but if you take a close look at the pen that I'm using right now, it's actually the Wish pen. So you can see that it's very clearly meant for children. But that was kind of what was fun about this, is that it was basically my adult skill being used against this childish item. So yeah, at first I thought this childish item was going to get the best of me because my first cherry did not come out well. I don't know why, my art skill just went out the window at the first sketch. So yeah, it was feeling a little bit rough. It was looking a bit rough, but this second one was better. As you can see, I got better and better with each sketch. I think it's because my hand needed to loosen up a little bit. So as you can see, I was basically just layering each color. At first, I was starting off with the base color, which was red. But then my artsy brain said, "What you doing, girl?" And then I switched over to starting off with the shadows first and then building up the colors. The thing that I could say about these pens is that they were a little bit blotchy, and sometimes they would kind of lock up or leave a big hunk of ink. This was I can't say this is easily avoidable, but it was ignorable, if that makes sense. Not the greatest, not the worst, just kind of ignorable. So, as I was going on with okay, so you guys have to forgive me. I am currently recording at 1 a.m. in a warm car. I don't know why. As I said, I'm a glutton for experience, and I'm apparently also a glutton for pain and sleep deprivation. So yeah. Basically I did all the base color, and then I went back to the shadows, just kind of darkening up the areas just to make them a little bit more distinct. I applied some purple, which I completely forgot. Luckily I remembered it at the very last moment. But yeah, I started to add in some black just to give it some dark hues, as well as some purple just to increase the cherryness, I guess it could be called. I also placed some shadow underneath the cherries just to make it look like it was like sitting on something. Once again, I was building up the colors a little bit. I started off with purple and then continued to add on some blue, and just place that around the cherries, even going a little bit behind the cherries just to make it look like it's sitting on top of a ground, not that it's just this thing that's floating in midair and casting a shadow. After adding the blue, which apparently I'm taking my sweet time to add, I started to add in the black, which, where on earth is the black? I know full well that I added in black after this whole entire thing. Okay, so apparently, past me decided to start working on the shadows on the other cherry. Like, y'all, I swear I had black. What? I could have sworn I had black. Never mind, I'm going crazy. There's apparently no black on those shadows. Scratch the black. So I went on to the other cherry, which, you know, it's accessorized with a cherry blossom. You know, ooh, so cute. So yeah, I also gave it a little leaf. This leaf gave me a little bit of a headache. It's a little bit of an eyesore, even afterwards. So yeah, I added some really light layers of red to give it that pinkish hue to the cherry blossom. I also gave the green, what am I saying? You know, maybe this wasn't the smartest idea to start, you know, voice recording at 1 a.m. when I can barely talk. Now I'm gonna keep on talking because we made it this far, and to be quite frank, who's gonna watch this? Not your dog. So I went on to the other cherry, which once again, as you can see, I'm obviously getting looser and looser with the colors. My hand's getting looser. I'm feeling more confident in my coloring. And also, I think I'm a little bit more controlled with my cross hatching. Just a little bit, you know. I'm not a neat person in general, so yeah. I added this bow onto this cherry couple because I saw this cute coquette picture on Pinterest, you know, as one typically does. And because I didn't have a pink option, I gave this cherry a blue ribbon with purple shadows. So yeah, I honestly thought this was going to be the worst failure, but surprisingly, it was not. You know, I don't know if it's artist blindness, if I'm just, you know, becoming more and more immune to my faults. So yeah, that's what I basically did. I thought during the time, I also thought that the blue would also make a pretty good contrast to the cherries, but also kind of tie in the kind of blue toned shadows. And also a little bit of purple, just I thought it kind of complemented each other. as you can see, I kind of did the same technique that I used on the first cherry blossom onto the second cherry blossom because they are basically the same design. I have really nothing else to say about this cherry blossom because you literally just saw me basically make a replica of this. It's a very... I really should probably do a tutorial on these type of flowers because they are so simple and easy to make. And people always compliment me on them. They're like, oh, it's so nice. It is literally the simplest thing on the face of this planet. So I will probably make a tutorial on this because everybody deserves pretty flowers. Even the most simple ones. So yeah, that's basically what you were seeing is what I did. Nothing much, just add some shadows and all that stuff. And oh, look at that, we're putting in the accents. As you can see, I added some washi tape and some blue sparkles. Because, you know, everybody needs that. Next, I started working on a different character. In my head, I was going to make just once, like, I was just going to color in just one page of the sketchbook. But it just looks so lonely. Just such a sad, lonely little page. So, of course, it needed an illustration buddy. So, I gave it this cutesy, kind of coquette, collegiate girl. I wanted her to be cherry themed because, you know, the cherries on the other side. It needs to be cohesive, okay? So I kind of did the same technique that I did with the other illustrations. Basically, I started off with the orange pen nib as the sketch layer, and I used the sketch layer. What? No, I used the orange pen to color in the skin, and basically I just used a very light layer and kind of did like a cross hatching with it, but a very, very light cross hatching. And underneath, I also used red at the beginning for blush and the lip colors. I applied that to both near the eyes, on the lips, on the nose, and also to the fingertips. Soon I realized that her sweater was lacking something, and I realized that she was lacking her cherry patterns. So of course I had to apply those. So yeah, that's basically all I did. Just added on some very simple cherry patterns. So yeah, I kind of wanted to give her a cutesy collegiate appearance. I kind of characterized this by 1, the shape of her sweater, and 2, the ginormous heart-shaped glasses. Because of course, you know, everybody's walking around with heart-shaped glasses, especially on college campuses. The overall vibe that I wanted to give was kind of strawberry shortcake-ish. But like if one of Strawberry Shortcake's friends grew up and they went over to college and, you know, kind of, you know, just grew up healthy, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I am so tired. I really should go to bed. But I'm not. I'm not. Like every other Gen Zer, I am not going to go to bed. So I started to work on her eyelashes. I used black for the line art, obviously. And this is where it all really started to come together. Yeah, I felt like it was very wispy looking until I added that black. And once you add the black, it's like everything just came together. And oh my goodness, I loved this little thing that I put in the eyes. Instead of making her pupils the typical round shape that you typically see me do, I made them heart-shaped. I don't know. For some reason, cherries and Valentine's Day just go together for me. It's like strawberries and chocolate. You know? So, we are now entering the final portions of the illustration. Thank you all for listening to my gross 1 a.m. voice. I kind of sound like that one lady from Monsters Inc., you know, always watching Wazowski. So thank you all for enduring this. But you know, we still have a few minutes here, so I will just show you, you know, me putting on the highlights and, you know, the blue stuff and, you know, all the little pieces that make a illustration just pop. You know, just put a little shine on that nose and to give her more life. And ta-da, here's the full illustration. And woo! Boom! Okay, that's... Oh, what is this? I don't even recall putting this part of the video in. Anyways, here is a rough footage of me putting on our stickers. This is a Jumble and Mess sticker. Jumble and Mess is a sticker business that my sister and I are going to start sometime this year. I know I have been advertising this for a long time, but thank you all for watching, and farewell.